Humanity has been at war throughout all of human history. The recorded wars in our history, documented on archive.org and imperialtometric.com, list at least 10,624 recorded battles in the history of mankind. However, there's one ongoing that we've been fighting for millennia against a merciless enemy that kills 10 million innocent people per year. In those 10 million, 600,000 Americans per year. I assume you're wondering who this enemy is and why this war doesn't make headlines worldwide. But the truth is, it actually does. And that's because this enemy that I speak of is cancer. The oldest record of cancer dates back to 3000 BC in ancient Egypt, called the Edwin Smith Papyrus, where after describing 8 cases of tumors of the breast, the writing says about the disease, "There is no treatment." Today, according to NCS.org, cancer stands under heart disease as the second leading cause of death in the United States, killing 2.7 times more Americans than the third leading cause of death, which is preventable injury. Now, we've come a long way since 3000 BC ancient Egypt. The scientific revolution happened in 1543 Europe, and it was in the late 19th century where we saw the birth in scientific oncology, which is the branch of medicine that specializes in cancer. And we made significant progress in these last 130 years. According to cancer.gov, as of January 2022, there are an estimated 18.1 million cancer survivors in the United States. And that number is projected to increase to 22.5 million by 2032. As of now, there are 3 main methods of treating cancer today. The first is radiation therapy. In radiation therapy, high energy waves or particles are targeted at the cancer cells, which kills them by damaging their DNA, which stunts their ability to grow and reproduce. But the problem with radiotherapy is that radiation is not specific to cancer cells and can damage healthy cells too, as well as surrounding tissues in the lung or heart, depending on how close they are to the tumor.
Oh shoot.
Okay. Also, not all tumors can be included on the models that are used to plan the radiation, because some tumors can't be seen on imaging scans, like cancer in nearby lymph nodes, or cancer that has spread to distant locations, like metastatic disease. The second main method of treating cancer that we have is surgery, which means to just remove the cancer directly. But this has its problems too. It can't kill microscopic disease around the edges of the tumor, which often leads tumor cells in the patient after surgery. It can also cause damage to nearby normal tissues, like when you have to remove ribs or normal lung tissue to reach a lung tumor. The last main method of treating cancer that we have is systemic therapy, which are medications that affect the whole body. These include hormones, chemotherapy, target therapy, antibodies, vaccines, biological response modifiers, integrative oncology, immune modulators, etc. The main problem with this form of treatment is that since the therapies go through the entire body and may affect all normal tissues, and the side effects are therapy dependent and can be different for different drugs. Now, what if there was a cancer treatment that solved all of these problems? I have a proposal that may have the potential to achieve that. Since our goal is to kill tumors, why don't we take a note from the most efficient killer ever on planet Earth, responsible for 532.8 octillion deaths every day, the bacteriophage. Bacteriophages are a type of virus that target specific bacteria. Now, bacteriophages themselves won't help fight cancer because that's not what they do. They're already being experimentally used to treat bacterial diseases. However, what makes bacteriophages special is how specialized they are. They're the deadliest beings in the world, yet despite there being billions of them all over and in you, they don't affect you. So my idea is, what if we engineered something similar, but specialized for cancer cells? Like any normal virus, it'll attach itself to its target and insert its own genetic instructions into the cell. Now, from the outside, it's impossible to tell cancer cells apart from healthy cells. That's the only reason they aren't just easily dealt with by the immune system. So this virus is going to have to do what it does to every cell it comes in contact with. The difference between this and a normal virus, however, is that a normal virus would just command the cell to produce more viruses and commit suicide. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you what it's called. I'm calling it the carcinophage, from the Greek word karkíno. Yeah. Anyways, if the carcinophage did this, it would arguably be considered harmful rather than helpful, because it would also make it prone to mutations, which could potentially make it dangerous and unpredictable. Instead, what a carcinophage does is command the cell to produce an organic machine within itself to read its own genome. We already have the technology to do this through a process called sequencing, which is currently being used for DNA data storage. When reading the cell's genome, the machine's job is to find its proto-oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes. These are the genes in a cell that are supposed to be responsible for the cell killing itself when its DNA is mutated. When these genes themselves are mutated and the proto-oncogenes become oncogenes, that's when the cell becomes cancerous. When the machine finds these genes, one of two things can happen. It'll either read them and realize that they're non-mutated, meaning the cell is healthy. At that point, it'll stop and destroy itself, and the cell's natural lysosomes would get rid of its remains. However, if the machine finds these genes, it'll do what if the machine finds these genes and finds that they're mutated and that it's cancerous, it'll do what the cell should have done to itself had these genes not been mutated and command the cell to kill itself, basically doing its job for it, killing the cancer cells. The virus is intentionally not designed to command the cell to produce more of itself like a normal virus, because we don't want it mutating, because with an added goal of reproducing, it becomes in its best interest to start targeting healthy cells too, if it were to given the opportunity to. So yeah, what makes this potential treatment special is that it's targeted. Chemotherapy and radiation therapy are like carpet bombing. It blows up everything, including healthy cells. Carcinophages are like targeted missiles that only affect cancer cells, like how bacteriophages target specific types of bacteria, whereas antibiotics kill all bacteria, including the good ones. Also, unlike with surgery, it can kill microscopic disease around the edges of tumors without damaging the nearby healthy tissue. And yeah, so yeah, all the problems with the other treatments are solved with this. Bacteriophages have been used in the past to combat bacterial diseases. A man was infected in his chest cavity with a superbug called Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and after years of suffering with it, a few thousand phages were directly inserted into his chest cavity, and after a few weeks, the infections were completely disappeared. And I'm hoping with this treatment, a similar outcome could be made. And yeah, these are my sources. That's it.